Hello students, today you're going to take Cornell notes on the Introduction to Kingdoms. Just like always with Cornell notes, make sure you have a summary and advanced question. And then the questions on the left, make them up yourself. I'll tell you out loud the first one. Okay, let's move on. For number one, write fungi. Fungi is a kingdom of organisms that do not perform photosynthesis, and they also don't eat food. They get their energy by absorbing dead or decaying organisms, breaking them down and getting their energy from them. Some people confuse fungi with plants because they look similar, but they're not really plants because they can't photosynthesize. That's why they're usually not green. For example, this creature right here, you notice that most people would confuse it with a plant, or some people would, but you notice that there is no leaves, and these leaves over here are the different plants. These are plants right here. They can photosynthesize, but these right here, they're actually breaking down something in the soil into different nutrients. So fungi look kind of like plants, but they actually break down dead or decaying things. Number one, you can write the question, what are fungi? And for the rest, make up your own. Okay, ready? Let's move on. For number two, oops, too far, write Protista. The Protista kingdom is made of single-celled or multicellular organisms that are microscopic, so they're usually very small. There's three kingdoms with very small creatures. This yellow stuff on this tree, you see the tree back here, is actually a protist. This is a single-celled organism, and it's growing on the tree. Okay. Make up your question for two, and then we'll move on to three. Are you ready? Let's move on to three. The Archaea kingdom. Also single-celled organisms that do not have a nucleus, so they are much more simple, not as complex. They can divide very quickly. And they like to live in extreme environments. They can live in other environments, but you can find them in extreme environments. So when we explore other planets and for life, Archaea is probably what we would find because they can live in very extreme, very cold, or very, very hot environments. For example, the yellow looks like ring or mud. It's actually a living creature. This color yellow is coming from the Archaea that's living in the hot water. It likes to live in the water. And if you look over here, it's almost 200 degrees. Hot enough to kill most creatures, but for this creature, for the Archaeas, they like to live in very cold or very, very hot environments. So that's Archaea. They're usually microscopic or small as well, but living in an environment that's extreme is something that's unique to Archaeas. Come up with your question for three and be ready for four. Okay, moving on to four. Bacteria. This is actually the most common organism on Earth. Usually, they're also single-celled, so they're small. All three of these categories of creatures are small. And they can live, though, inside or on of other organisms. They're actually everywhere around us, inside of us. So, for example, they look like sometimes little rods or pill cases. And they're inside right now of you and my intestinal tract. Sometimes we eat them. We eat yogurt, cheeses, all this food that we need and helps us survive. And sometimes they help us. It's not always that they make us sick, although sometimes they do make us sick. Sometimes we don't even really influence each other. But the important thing is to know is that they're small and they're everywhere. They're the most common organism. Okay, come up with your question for four and then start your summary and advanced question. And then move on to the next step. Have a good day.